Welcome to video 11 of the Red Pill Africa video series. In today's video, I'll be talking about the fifth idea in the EDISAC framework, the idea of articulation. For those who have already subscribed, thank you. For those who are new to the channel, support by subscribing, like the video, and share within your network. Thank you very much. Let's get started. While on the journey of seeking, you keep internalizing new ideas and new experiences until at some point your comprehension of those ideas and experiences hits a critical point at which your brain changes and creates new neural networks. It's these new brain networks that come together to create or change your psychological makeup. You sort of become a new individual. It is that new individual that journeys back to the community where you came from and articulates the newfound knowledge. If your articulation is of great value, that's when the community declares you a hero. On the flip side, if what you're articulating is ordinary, not of great value, then you just join the status quo, become a commoner, and life continues as if you never left on the journey of exploration. There are only two modes of articulating the newfound knowledge, either through spoken word or writing. Since Africans are an oral people, we don't lack articulating our knowledge through the spoken word. From our music, which has gone beyond Africa to cover all four corners of the world, one thing for sure is that we and people of African descent don't lack in articulating our soul or our knowledge through spoken word. However, articulation through oral communication has a disadvantage. It lacks a staying power and preservation of the accuracy in knowledge. That is why we must change our tradition and embrace the culture of articulation through writing. This is what has made many non-Africans come into our continent, and through the power that they get from what they articulated in writing, they can easily dominate us spiritually, economically, and intellectually. We must change. If we change and we start articulating our knowledge through the written text, then future generations of Africans will appreciate and internalize a written worldview that is centered on an African perspective. In the EDISAC framework, I articulated three important ideas that many of us don't study about in our colonial education, but when you get to know them, they can reorient your mind towards Africa such that we stop feeling and wanting everything to be centered on non-African ideas. The first thing I articulated was about ancient Africa and the wisdom that we can obtain when we know about many of the things that were written about in ancient times. For example, the idea that a son is born who reunites with the spirit of his father to save the kingdom or humanity. When you get to see this idea in modern productions like The Lion King, you'll straight away be able to appreciate that its origin is from thousands of years of African imagination. The second thing I articulated is the idea that we must create a post-tribal identity and an idea from that that should unite our psychology and propel us to creativity. The third thing I articulated was that when we have this post-colonial, post-tribal identity and idea, many of us individually will internalize a spring self-confidence that will enable us to critique many of the non-African ideas that keep a lot of us in a sort of a mental slavery. We need to free ourselves by articulating and consuming the articulated words that are by one of us. As an African, what have you articulated in writing that is independent of the colonial education that most of us are fed? I believe it's that articulation that will free us and bring us freedom of thought. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the 11 videos. There's one more video to complete this Red Pill Africa series. See you next time.